Well, this week was Small Business Week across the U.S., but many of those small businesses have been hurt by the coronavirus pandemic. I do want to bring in Chris Markowski, the founder of Markowski Investments, for more. Hi, Chris. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good. Small Business Week 2020 has a bit of a different feel than previous years. Many of those owners are remaining unsure at this time about their future amid this pandemic and amid the measures being taken by governors across the state during this time, or across the country during this time. What have you heard from small business owners about the uncertainty they're currently facing?
There's many different types of small businesses, and obviously, I think most people are aware what's happening. Obviously, with restaurants and also in any type of the business that's in regards to the hospitality industry has gotten hit real hard. We've seen this past week 66% of the hotels saying if their occupancy rates stay the same over the next 6 months, they're not going to be able to make it. Now, the thing that people don't understand, I think, okay, big hotel chain, Marriott, Hilton, whatever it may be. What about all the small businesses that provide to those hotels, everything from produce to liquor to washing the linens, everything on through. This is it's a difficult area that we're facing now in many aspects of small business. And quite frankly, this is where I really think the stimulus, they're talking about doing another stimulus, this is where I think they really need to concentrate on. Not so much PPP money. The Federal Reserve put forward that Main Street lending program, which has been a bust. You need to go out there and you got to help entrepreneurs go out there and reopen these businesses, because there's basically two economies right now. You got the Main Street economy right now that some areas is doing okay, but for the most part is not. And then you got the big businesses, the ones that have been pretty much COVID proof, the Amazons, many of the tech companies out there, they're doing well. At some point in time, unless we get those small businesses going again, it's not going to be good for our overall economy.
Earlier today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed an executive order to fully reopen his state. How do you expect that to impact the economy there in the Sunshine State?
Well, Florida's been doing much, much better than other places because they've been trying all along. Obviously, we saw the spikes that happened over the summertime, and that's to be expected, just like we're starting to see small spikes in certain college towns where kids have come back. And it's part of the virus working its way through the system. But as far as unemployment is concerned, they've done a great job. Not to mention the fact, you got areas of that state, we all know, Disney, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, a lot of people in that area that need to get back to work. And many, again, small businesses that supply these bigger areas. He's obviously working really, really hard to bring back some sort of normalcy, and I think that the citizens of Florida should commend him for that. I think that he's done an absolutely fantastic job.
In testimony this week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin told Congress they do believe that more stimulus is still needed for the U.S. economy. One key Fed official, though, St. Louis Fed President James Bullard, saying yesterday that he does not think more stimulus is needed, and he thinks that we have the momentum to recover by the end of the year. Where do you fall on the need for more relief? And as you mentioned earlier, what industries can we target with that relief?
For a while, we've talked about this before. I am really, really big in protecting small businesses, nonprofits out there from nonsensical lawsuits, somebody claiming that they got COVID in your restaurant or your movie theater, whatever it may be. That's a great form of stimulus. Getting capital out there to entrepreneurs would be another one. Just going and helicopter money all over again, sending people checks. I'm sorry, that's a sugar high. It doesn't stand for any sort of long-term growth. And you know what? It's funny, always around elections they do this. But if you remember, prior to the 2008 election, George W. Bush and Nancy Pelosi got together and they sent out checks then too during the financial crisis. Did it work? No. The underlying fundamentals of the economy is what we need to build up, and just dropping money over the country, that's not going to do it.
House Democrats are expected to present a $2.4 trillion relief proposal next week. That's lower than their previous offer, higher though than anything presented by Republicans so far. It does include those stimulus checks. Do you think we see any type of stimulus for Americans before Election Day?
I do. Now that Mnuchin and Pelosi are talking, I think that they're probably going to come to some sort of compromise. I think what was the original was over $3 trillion. Now it's what, 2.4. Republicans came back, was about a month ago, at $500 billion. We're talking real money now. It wasn't that long ago. What was the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act was under $1 trillion, and we thought that was insane. The numbers we're throwing around right now, it is really difficult to get your arms around.
All right, Chris Markowski, the founder of Markowski Investments, joining us to discuss the latest on the economy amid the pandemic. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.